Okay. She liked it.
She liked it. I mean, she really liked everything.
She liked most of it, which is great, but
yeah.
So where the heck are we going?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have no idea.
Yes.
Starting a creative project can feel like standing in front of a sea of endless possibilities, which can be overwhelming, even for people who do it every day. Rex is a strategic and creative branding agency located in Vancouver, BC. On a mission to build brands that give a shit about people, Rex helps businesses define who they are, what they do, and their impact through developing brand strategy and creative marketing execution. In this series, we'll be documenting our journey at Rex Marketing and Design as we embark on our own internal rebrand. By showing you a behind-the-scenes look at our creative process and approach to building a visual identity, we hope to give you the tools to do the same for yourself, or feel more confident in leading your design team. At the end of this episode, we'll be sharing our approaches to giving effective critiques and feedback to get the best creative results. In the last episode of Inside a Rebrand, Christian and Melissa officially started the visual identity rebrand process after uncovering a number of key challenges with the existing Rex visual and its lack of flexibility to adapt to assets that the team needs to design. With direction from CEO Alison Brand, Christian and Melissa are diving into the rebrand process that they normally do for clients, but this time going through it themselves. In this episode, Christian and Melissa will go through a series of exercises to narrow down a clear direction for the look and feel of the Rex brand. From competitive research to creative territories, then mood boards, we'll take you through our creative process step by step. Let's take a look inside a rebrand.
Before defining a direction for the visual identity, we take a look at competing brands to see what's already out there in the market. These insights uncover any trends that we want to follow and any areas where we can really stand apart. Christian took a look at the other agencies in our space and shared what he learned with the rest of the team. It's interesting to look at other agencies around the same size as us to see how they're positioning themselves, but also look at the bigger players of where we aspire to grow to as well.
Exactly.
These guys are really super clean.
It's black and white. It's
Yeah.
literally just like really like minimal graphics, some animations to make it a little kind of punchy.
Yeah.
But yeah, they keep it pretty sparse. A lot of the big guys are very much just like, here are the brands we've worked with. Mm-hmm. These are the projects. Mm-hmm. The smaller agencies, they definitely apply the branding more so. Like it's a little bit more, I don't want to say in your face, but it's there. It's more noticeable. But they more or less they apply things like color, like funky colors that make it kind of pop or that make it more memorable. Mm-hmm. What we found was a lot of the bigger companies, they very much, they can just kind of they can lean into their work.
That makes sense for them because they're working with brands like Coca-Cola, Dove, the big companies. So of course they put that at the forefront, and really they just need to show that they work with Coca-Cola and people want to work with them.
Boom. Okay, these guys are credible. You'd almost think of what these sort of portfolio websites as an art gallery. And when you go to an art gallery, it's all white walls, right? And then you have the featured paintings being hung up on the wall. These agency websites are very similar in that regard. None of the companies actually use sort of a brand texture or sort of some sort of pattern to help communicate the brand identity. It's an area where we can lean into and differentiate ourselves, because nobody else is doing it. We want it to be triggering, oh, this is Rex, but at the same time we don't want it to be like, oh gosh, okay, this is just this is overwhelming.
Yeah. Taking what we learned from the competitive research and combining that with the direction that we got from Alison, I put together a brief that highlights the key words that we want the Rex rebrand to communicate.
Creative, human, powerful and polished, energetic, clear.
Next, it'll be up to Christian to find visuals that align to these descriptors and compile them into distinct creative territories.
So the creative territory exercise is that sort of first stage where we get to dive into the visuals. We show the client a collection of imagery that all relates to the key words that we discovered in our discovery. So what we're looking for is that gut reaction from the client. So when they get shown the image, it's either like, dislike, and why. We just sit back and absorb as much information as we possibly can because we're trying to look for that little nugget of information that will help direct us on the next stage of the project.
Christian and Melissa review the creative territories together to make sure they're aligned before the presentation to Allison.
I got you some creative territories.
Okay, let's have a look.
Hold up.
I'm scared.
Don't look, don't look, don't look. 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Oh, wow. Oh my God, there's so much to look at. Okay.
As far as the columns go, I pulled out the keywords from the
Yeah.
creative brief. So let's just go over those. The energy radiating is column A.
Yeah.
Making sense of chaos and confusion, that's column B. Hearts and minds coming together, that was kind of like the melding idea. That's column C. And then Aurora Borealis, that's like that big visual that that kind of ties everything together. That's column D. Digest.
I really love this.
Okay.
My eye is drawn to that one.
Okay.
And also this one, I think.
I like that one's cool.
I love the melding of the colors coming together.
Yeah. Do you feel like the clarity in this image, like that, like you're suddenly seeing the light kind of thing?
Yeah, so I love how it looks like a spotlight,
Yeah.
and there's a really high contrast between the light and the dark, which I like.
I totally feel that aha moment when the client's kind of floating in
And it's
darkness,
kind
and
of
then
like-
suddenly it's like, whoa, here we go, I'm on board.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like you can see the light.
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
Hallelujah.
I kind of also, I think I'm drawn to this one, D2, because it's similar to the colors that we are using right now for
Yes.
Rex. Like I feel like that would be a really easy transition. It's
But
got
there's
the turquoise.
contrast.
Yeah.
You know, that
there's definitely
circle,
more-
like just it's like jumping off the page.
Yeah. Like there's more tones of the orange.
Exactly.
To work with.
Yeah. I think it gets me excited because it's like, okay, there's so much potential here. So I'm just really curious where Allison's what's gonna draw her eye, because I've got my own sort of opinion.
Yeah.
Deep down, I'm hoping she's down for D2 because I can totally see Rex going down that avenue as far as color goes.
Melissa and Christian head in to show Allison the creative territories. As we do with our clients, in this meeting we're trying to get as much feedback as possible on what Allison likes and dislikes and why, to narrow down direction and formulate a clear target for the next phase.
I hate being client side. This is so weird. Okay,
know.
let's do it.
Embrace it.
Let's
Okay.
do it. Okay.
Close your eyes.
Do we do this with clients? Do we tell
Yeah.
them to close their eyes?
Always.
All right. All right.
Okay, now open.
Wow. Okay. The color.
Okay, what are you drawn to first?
Right away. This. I love this.
What do you love about it?
It's like an entity. It's like this growing, like organic, like even though it's a static image, there's so much movement in it. There's so much depth and richness and like the melt of the colors and like, it's to me, that entity we talk about with brand, like that thing that exists between, you know, a company and its audience. Like what is that entity? What is that thing that's created? Like that to me is that thing. I like this. So this is neat because this is really organic. A little bit sort of more subdued in the color palette, but still very like
Melding.
yeah. But what's interesting to me is like, oh, I guess they kind of have a mix of melding and then some geometric shapes.
Yes.
Yes, I like that. This is actually interesting. I didn't even notice this at first. Okay, I haven't liked any of the people, but there's something about little spaceman. He's like, and I think maybe it's because
He is a spaceman?
Well, he's a spaceman, but he's drawn into the light. So
Yeah.
that idea of drawing
Drawing
together, like this entity right here, that is like that, you know, this brand entity, is drawn to it, which is what happens. Like, what draws us in?
Yeah.
What connects us? And he's like looking at it, and it's like he's on the precipice of something. Like,
Yeah.
There's something about that. I think when I think about the Rex brand, what I'm most wanting to communicate is that amazing power of communication. Like that's the piece that I think of that excites me about the work that we do. And so all of these sort of abstract, organic, flowy, me and my hand talking, you know, that really, really resonates with me.
Woo! Okay. She liked it.
She liked it. I mean, she really liked everything.
She liked most of it, which is great. But so where the heck are we going?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have no idea.
Yes.
She had a really positive response to a lot of the imagery that we showed her, which is great.
Yeah.
Because that tells us that we're going in the right direction.
Yes. We picked up on whatever she's saying, like the key words, and we found visuals, lots of different visuals that have aligned with it, but she likes most of them.
Yes.
So now it's a matter of like trying to create 2 threads between the visuals and come up with 2 different mood boards. Arc 2 different ways. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't. So the one that she was super drawn to again and again was the kind of watercolor, pinky orange watercolor mark across the white page, right?
Which I was kind of surprised that she was into that.
Why?
Because that's not. I mean, it's not that it's not Allison, but it's like it's a different visual that I've never seen Allison kind of drawn towards. Like the read that I got on her was like always like very crisp, very like hard lines, and maybe like she's very clean. Let's say she's clean around the office. She keeps things looking sharp, and there's not. I don't know. I never picked up on like that the little bit of chaos, not chaos, but like the organic edge. Right. I never picked up on that before.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. That's an exciting thing, though. I think a visual that we can definitely unpack further. I honestly think that'll be one mood board because it's so unique and there's so much that we could potentially do with it. So I think that's definitely a direction that we can go in. She was also the other one that she was really into was the one that was like really tight lines that were all kind of forming this sort of geometric shape, but at the same time felt sort of like a bit of organic because there was this really cool gradient that was crossing it laid over top of it. So I think with that one, it's got a nice contrast with the image that we were previously talking about. So I think there's a way, or there's definitely enough of a difference between the 2 where I think we could lead it in 2 different directions. So we got to spearhead it ahead to the next stage, which is mood boards.
Yes.
Mood boards are a collection of similar looking images that help you build a visual style. So you've taken what you've discovered in the Creative Territories exercise and then distilled them into a specific kind of aesthetic. You go online, you collect a whole bunch of images that kind of relate to that aesthetic in a visual sense, and then you basically create a collage. We find it best practice to do 2 very separate visual mood boards. That way you've got 2 different options where you can take the brand. Once you've built the 2 mood boards, the key here is to pick one. That can be the hardest part, but once you've decided on which you think will be the best suited towards your brand, it's time to take it to the next stage, and you've got a clear direction on where you're going.
With 2 mood boards prepared, Christian and Melissa are ready to share the creative directions with Allison to get her feedback on which one to move forward with. Option 1 is Radiant Rivers. Option 2 is Wondrous Waves. They're hoping that they've captured the essence of the brand Allison wants in one of these mood boards, or else it's back to square one.
So Christian has been working on the mood boards. So we have them, we're ready to show you.
We took that scatterbrained collection of words that you gave us.
Perfect, thanks.
And we boiled it down.
I'm the perfect client.
Yes.
No?
You love everything.
Love or hate. Okay, no, I'm excited. It's good.
Cool. Okay.
Also, your job's on the line. No.
High stakes.
Okay.
Just swipe away.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Mood board.
Yes.
All right. So we did, okay.
We got 2.
Whoa, dude.
Feelings.
Thoughts? Feelings?
Say something.
I fucking love it.
Yeah?
I do. I really do. Like, I really do. I really love it.
Just so you know, it doesn't always go this smoothly. We've been working together for a few years, so we had a good idea of what Allison would love. But in cases when the client isn't in love, it wouldn't be the end of the world. We would just continue refining until it's right.
I'm not even sure what I said, but this is what I said. I love this.
Yeah.
That's that entity, that brand. I love the texture in here. I love the gradients in here. You know me and that light, that essence, you know?
There's one image in the creative territories that really drove this home that you seem to be drawn towards. So that's kind of the inspiration behind Radiant Rivers. That's what it's called.
Oh, I didn't even read that.
Okay, so
Do you wanna
there's
see
still one more to go.
The second one?
I don't know. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay.
I can already tell the other one's the one.
I think the reason I'm resonating with the other one is this has that radiant energy, but then it's always contained in something.
Yeah.
Or like being formed into something. So here, this is being formed into like this topographical map. So that energy isn't radiating, it's contained.
Yeah.
The thing we need to communicate about brand is that it's none of this really.
Yeah.
It's the entity created between the business and their audience.
Yeah.
And that is not something you can contain.
There's not a clear cut line.
Yeah, and you can't contain it or control it. You can influence it, but it's organic.
Yeah.
And so like I need to feel like whatever that texture or tone or visual is, that it's got a radiating, organic, free,
Living, breathing thing.
yeah. Like actually, it's interesting. I didn't even see that before, but like there's a movement to how this is being, like it's growing. This is rising. I really like it. Like I really like it. I feel as though I should have something more constructive to say.
No, this
If
is.
you love it.
Yes, that means we can go ahead with what we
Yeah.
got.
Yeah,
So this is the one.
that's the one.
Okay.
We'll
Now
just
we gotta
keep
start.
going.
We gotta start
So
creating
good.
now. Now it's time
Yeah.
to put pen to paper.
So when can I have the website live? Like next week,
Yesterday.
right?
Deadlines.
No, seriously, because this is what I love about the process is now I see the visual language and it's aligning with the message that we want to portray, kind of like the impact we want to create, what we want to share with the audience, what we want to offer of value, like all of
Yeah.
that stuff is lining up. And I'm like, now I just want to be able to share it with this tool,
Totally.
you know? So I'm anxious but patient, don't worry. I'm excited. I can see it. That's how I know it's right. I can see it.
Fantastic.
Bam.
I mean, that's a huge win. Like
Yeah.
she saw it right away and immediately knew that was
Big
the one.
smile.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can see it in her eyes and
Yes.
in her face.
Yes.
She's in love with it.
It's almost nice when a client goes completely one direction. It's like, oh, yeah, the other one's okay,
Yeah.
but I love this.
Yeah.
The last two exercises really have been it's all about listening.
Yeah.
It's trying to pick up on what they're feeling, right? It's like, okay, are we picking up what she's sending out? And we did.
I think what's really worked about this is that she's so clear on what she wants.
Yes.
She's really clarified the vision and the brand message and what she wants to communicate. And that makes it so much easier for us to go on that path with her.
It's a hard thing sometimes to take your own bias out of it. Not talking about Allison, but talking about us, where, maybe you and I didn't like watercolors.
Yeah.
But we got it's like, you got to take your own opinions out of it and you have to listen to what the client is saying.
Yeah.
And she saw that image. And again, the fact that she was so drawn to that one over everything else, I was actually quite surprised. So, but we listened to it, we unpacked it even further, and then we've landed where we are now.
She loves this direction so much. I think it communicates everything that she wants to say to the point where we can lean far into this and not worry so much about trying to incorporate the original identity.
Yes.
Like we can basically drop the dots. Right? Like we're not stuck with trying to do like a half alignment,
Yeah.
like incorporating some of the old with some of the new.
Yeah.
She's so into this new direction. I think
Yes.
we just go full steam ahead. We don't even have to try to do like a alignment with the old one.
Which, I mean, thank God, because a lot of the time when you try, like alignments can work really well. We've done it for plenty of clients, but sometimes you run the risk of it just ending up looking like a hodgepodge.
Yeah.
We're going off in this exciting new direction, and then but you're like you've got all this baggage that you're carrying with you.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to be able to work with no shackles.
Now you actually have to start designing stuff.
Yes.
You have to
Now
start
it's like
making.
put pen to paper and
Yeah.
bring this thing to life.
Yeah.
In the next episode of Inside a Rebrand, it's time to start experimenting with design. Christian will build out different concepts for the brand's new textures, color palettes, and typography through mock-up poster illustrations. These are the last few big decisions Allison has to make before we get to the final product. See you in the next episode of Inside a Rebrand.
So So let's talk about giving critique and giving feedback. So why is this important? Basically, the more effective your feedback can be, the more likely it is that the design team is going to be able to be efficient and accurate and get you the results that you want. So I can share a few things that I've learned or what I've found to be really effective when giving feedback. First thing would be, before you even look at anything, just remind yourself what the objectives are. Use that as a lens to measure and critique anything that you're about to see.
Yeah, and then as a designer, when you're receiving feedback, you just kind of hope that the other person's going to be using words that, are a little bit gentle. You don't want to use words like hate or like I just absolutely dislike this, just because like it's a relationship between the two of you, and in any relationship you want to, you got to massage the way that you deliver your feedback.
Yes, totally. I think it's important to know as the client or as the strategist that the creative is putting like a piece of themselves out there, and it's like their baby. They worked really hard on this, so of course it's hard not to take it personally, whatever feedback you give.
And you just don't want your designer harboring resentment and then that sort of like becoming a bit of a disconnect, and then the rest of the process can kind of get a little bit more rougher and rougher as you go on. So the more smoothly that you can deliver your feedback, the better.
Yeah.
Some examples of using words other than hate would be like, I'm not quite connecting with so-and-so. This isn't really working for me. Maybe we could try this. I'm not responding the way I think I should be. Yeah, just kind of getting creative with your language a little bit.
Another thing that has worked for me is really observing your gut reaction to anything that you're seeing, and then also taking that back, peeling that back, removing your own perspectives and your own biases, and sometimes even your own ego, and looking at it from the eyes of your audience. And it really helps to have a defined audience persona or archetype to help you use that as a lens to view the work and to give the critique. How are they going to feel about it? How are they going to react, and what do they need to see in order to be inspired to take the action that you want them to take? Communication is everything. Providing clear direction is going to make a world of a difference. The more clear you can be in your direction, the better, and the less likely it is for the design to get off track or to be to miss the mark on the objectives. We always say it's okay to be uncertain if you don't know what it is that you want, but you can't be unclear. Just be straight up, be open, communicate honestly. That's going to lead to the best result.
Yeah. And the other thing too, like if you have an idea, don't be afraid to give it, because two heads are better than one, and you might have an exciting new perspective that the designer hadn't thought of yet. So never be afraid to offer just what you think might be the best solution.
Those are our tips for giving effective critique and feedback from the perspective of a strategist and a perspective of a creative. Try those out the next time you're giving feedback to your team. Let us know how it goes.
You got this.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Inside a Rebrand mini-series. Please let us know what you think in the comments below. Did you learn anything new about creative exploration? Do you like the mood board direction that we chose, or do you prefer the other? Next time, you're going to see our team design concepts from scratch, so make sure to follow Rex Marketing and Design, like this video, and stay tuned for more.